harf, this enters upon an ism. Same as inna enters upon an ism. Inna Allah Ghafurur Rahim. Okay? And anna also, this gives emphasis. But an al-mukhaffafa, which enters upon a fi'l, which is an al-masdariya or an al-nasiba, this is not for tawqeed, not for emphasis. So what is its role?
If, is it if?
If, good try. But it shows that we are all rusty. But you're remembering things that we haven't studied yet, so that means you're actually ahead of us. In, this is if, and this is coming later on, inshallah. Tfadal Akhi Sultan, you can take the mic, inshallah. So when the maf'ulun bihi is a fi'l, but basically when you are joining two verbs together. For example, you say, Uridu, I want to azur, I want to visit. I want to see, I want to return. Can I go back? These verbs, can I want to, you want to use a verb after it. So you're joining these two verbs together with an. And here's the example. So this is your verb number one, turidina. Do you want to? Aina turidina. Where do you want? Where do you want? And the verb is tadhhabina. To go. Where do you want to go? To join turidina and tadhhabina, you need an nasiba. Okay? And an changes the fi'l from marfu' to mansub. Changes it from marfu' to mansub. So this first verb, aina turidina, I'll make it bigger. Aina turidina. This first verb over here. Is it marfu' or is it mansub?
Marfu.
Habib says it's marfu'. But I can see a fatha on the end. Does the fatha mean that this is marfu', mansub?
No, because its presence of noon makes it marfu.
Barakallahu feek. So this verb, which is on the pattern of taf'alina, oh, okay. This verb is mukhataba. The presence of the noon, which has a fatha on it, this is the sign of it being marfu'. Alamatul raf' thubut an-noon or wujud an-noon. That's the sign of it being marfu'. Yeah, it's not taf'alina. This wasn't. Turidina is not taf'alina. It's probably tuf'ilina. In any case, the noon is the sign of it being marfu. Now this word, this an has changed tadhhabina to mansub. And what is the sign of tadhhabina being mansub?
Hafzul noon, absence of noon.
Naam, barakallahu feek. So, turidina, this is marfu'. Tadhhabina, this is mansub. Turidina is marfu' with this the presence of the noon, and تذهبي, this is mansoob with the absence of the noon. حذف النون. You want to make a verb like that. Mansoob, take the noon away. حذف النون. Delete the noon. حذف النون is the sign of it being mansoob. Is that clear, inshallah? طيب. Here's a much easier example. أريد أن أزور. أريد أن أزور. I want to visit. And this أزور, this is فعل, and the فاعل is ضمير مستتر أنا, and جارتنا is what?
Our neighbors.
Akram. The neighbors, what is in terms of i'rab? Ahsant. In terms of meaning, that she wants to visit, Amina wants to visit her neighbor. جارتنا. In terms of i'rab, Akram?
Mansoob.
Habib says mansoob. Akram?
مفعول به منصوب.
مفعول به منصوب. بارك الله فيك. وعلامة نصبه, and the sign of it being mansoob is this clear fatha that you can see at the end. Fathatun ظاهرة في آخرها. أريد أن أزور جارتنا التي. This التي, you studied it in Madeenah book 1. التي, it's ism mawsul, it's connecting two things together. It's a connector. And basically it translates as who or that. So I want to visit our neighbor who, the one who, زارتني أمس. زارتني أمسي. The one who visited me yesterday. Because we have two neighbors. So for example, so I want to visit the one who visited me yesterday. So it's identifying which neighbor, it's also identifying the reason why I want to visit her, because she visited me. طيب, we read all of this and we got to approximately, I think it was over here, where Hamid asks his children, أين زملاؤكم? So if I can get a couple of readers, Hamid, Al-Abna and Al-Banat. So we need three readers. Someone to read for Hamid, someone to read Al-Abna, and someone to read Al-Banat. So yeah, Ahmed, you can go ahead and read, inshallah. And Abu Hassan's got his hand up. So that's two readers. I need one more. If you can put your hand up if you're willing to read. I just saw someone's hand somewhere. It was, so Habib beat you to it, Abdul Kareem Afwan. So inshallah, we'll give you a chance, hopefully, to be able to read. So Ahmed Dil, you can read Hamid, and then Habib, if you could read Al-Abna. And who was the other person that had the mic? There was a third person who had his hand up. It was
Abu Hassan.
It was Abu Hassan, yeah. You put your hand down and then I lost you.
Oh, sorry.
Aywa. So Abu Hassan, then you can read the third one, which is Al-Banat. تفضل أخي أحمد.
أين زملاؤكم؟ ما جاءوا اليوم لزيارتكم كعادتهم كل أسبوع.
طيب. Here, أين زملاؤكم؟ ما جاءوا اليوم لزيارتكم. لزيارتكم كعادتهم كل أسبوع. Okay. So here you have li. And previously you had li. What is the difference of these two lams? Can you notice any difference? Ahlan Zaid, no problem. Can you notice any difference between these two lams? They both at the beginning of a word. They both have a kasra. They both seem to be giving a reason for doing something. Now, so this lam, linashtariya, this is what we call, and what we called previously, lam at-ta'lil. Okay? And lam at-ta'lil, afwan, yeah, lam at-ta'lil, or lam alif at-ta'lil. Lam at-ta'lil enters upon a verb, and this lam, it is an indirect cause of the fi'l becoming mansoob. Okay, the fi'l is mansoob bi an al-mudmara, li an nashtari. And you can say li nashtari or li kay nashtari. So that's the lam al-ta'lil. And the lam of li ziyaratikum is, as Adil said, well done, this is lam al-jar, min huruf al-jarri. And it's called lam as-sababiyah. Lam as-sabab, or lam as-sabab. Like, what's the reason? In actual fact, both of these two, they have the same meaning. Lam of ta'lil and lam of sabab, the same thing. But there's a variation in name. Why? Because this one is entering upon a verb, this is entering upon a noun. So Allahu A'lam, maybe in order to make a differentiation of what lam we're talking about, they gave it a slightly different name, even though it amounts to pretty much the same thing. The difference in i'rab is lam al-ta'lil will render the word after the verb to be mansoob, albeit indirectly, because of an, al-mudmara, the hidden an. And lam of sabab is making the word after it what? Mansoob, marfu' or majroor?
Majroor.
Majroor. And that is because it is harful jar. Ahsantum. طيب. ما جاء اليوم. Why is al-yawma got a fatha on it? Why does al-yawma have a fatha on it?
مفعول به.
ومفعول فيه.
مفعول فيه. أحسنت Abu Hassan. It's actually the time frame in which the action happened. Al-yawma. So it definitely is maf'ul, as Habib said, but technically you won't call it maf'ulun bihi because the action didn't happen to it, but the action happened in it, in that time frame. Jayid? So that's why it's called maf'ulun fihi and not maf'ulun bihi. And then he said, ka'adatihim. So you have this kaf. Adatun, the word that you have here, the word you have is adatun. What's the meaning of adatun? Interestingly, this is a similar word in Urdu or it basically
Habitual.
Afwan?
Habitual.
Yeah, exactly, like a habit or a custom, customary act or a usual act or a or a habit, yes, as mentioned also by the sister. So in Urdu they say adat, right? The same word is being used to mean returning. Ada means raja'a. If you remember from a dars, if I'm not mistaken, dars al-ashir or dars al-hadi ashir, around that time. He said, ما معنى? He said, Ya Ustadu, ما معنى عادة? He said, raja'a. عادة بمعنى raja'a. So, where's the link between عادة and عادة, the fi'l, the verb and the noun? Well, عادة, it became a habit because you keep returning to the act. You keep doing the act, so it became عادة. And the verb عادة means raja'a, means returned. So this is there's like a link between the noun, the ism, wal fi'l, the noun and the verb. Didn't they come today to visit you? كعادتهم, as is their habit. كل أسبوع, as is their habit. كل أسبوع, every week, as is their habit or custom or regular practice every week. So why is there kasra on ada? Ahsanti, because kaf is min huruf al-jar. Now you learned previously that the huruf al-jar were min, fi, ila, ala, and the lam, and you may have learned some others. And here you're learning also that this kaf, which is known as kaf al-tashbih, kaf al-tashbih, this is the name of that kaf, the kaf of resemblance. This is harf al-jar. And the reason they call it kaf al-tashbih is because it means you use it when you try to draw similarities between two things. So you say, for example, huwa, talking about some particular person, ka-asad. Huwa ka-asad. He is like a lion. Maybe, for example, in his behavior. Tafadhal akhi Abdullah, you have a question or something? Go ahead. Huwa ka-asad, he's like a lion. Maybe in his behavior, in his style, in his aggression. Allahu A'lam. So this kaf means like or similar to. So if you're going to translate it, this one here, you won't say like, but you might say as is their habit every week. Did they not come today to visit you as is their habit every week? Or yeah? طيب. تفضل. Who's reading al-abna?
أرادوا أن يذهبوا أرادوا أن يذهبوا اليوم إلى المتحف.
جيد. وما معنى المتحف؟
Museum.
بارك الله فيك. المتحف means museum. أرادوا. So you can see the verb, we studied it before. يريد, نريد, تريد. Okay. The past tense we said was أراد. The مضارع يريد. أراد يريد. That is the fi'l. So if you want to change the fa'il of arada, then If it's here, what will you say? You'll say أرادت. جيد. If it's whom, what will you say?
أرادوا.
أرادوا. They intended to. Okay, so you have هو أراد. هي أرادت. هم أرادوا. Okay. What will it be if it's أنت?
أردت.
So you have the ta with the fatha on the end. And this فعل مضارع فعل ماضي عفوا, it becomes مبني على السكون. Now there's a problem because this alif is already sakin. Now you have two sukoons together. It's impossible to do it. So what do the Arabs do? They take away the first lam, the first alif. And they go directly from the ra to the dal. And then you say, aradta, aradta, for anta. And aradtu, for ana. And for anti, what's it going to be?
يا
Aradti. How about hunna?
أردنا.
Barakallah feek. Aradna. All of this is when the فعل الماضي is مبني على السكون. Why is it مبني على السكون? Because of the type of dhamir that is connecting to it. جيد. When the اتصال of the dhamir is when the dhamir itself is للمخاطب للمتكلم عفوا أردت أنت نعم للمخاطب للمخاطبة للمتكلم the one who's speaking أردت 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 and أردنا الغائبات. In that situation the alif in the middle goes, and when that dal basically has a sukoon on it, that's what's causing the alif to go. If the dal is mutaharrik, meaning the dal has a fatha on it or a dhamma, then there's no reason for the alif to disappear because its purpose is being served because the letter after it has a dhamma or a fatha. Aradu, arada, aradat. طيب. تفضل أخي أحمد. You're reading Hamid, yeah?
نعم. يا بناتي أنا الآن أذهب إلى المستشفى لعيادة سلمى. عفوا لعيادة سلمى. أتردن أن تذهبن معي؟
أحسنت. Just remember that this lam is harful jar. So لعيادة.
نعم.
لعيادتي سلمى. طيب. Actually, I want to come back to this previous one. This one has the same ending as this one. But what's the difference?
مضارع.
Afwan Abu Hassan.
Now, aradu is the past tense.
فعل ماضي.
فعل ماضي and then أن
And فعل
يذهبوا
ماضي is and
فعل
عفوا
مضارع.
and فعل ماضي is always
فعل ماضي
is
always
it
what?
مبني.
مبني. Okay.
Always مبني. And in this case it's مبني على الضمة. So what is the waw then?
It's the jama. I mean, it's like, you know, many people done.
No.
Uradu is the waw is for the jama, no? No, jama
Sorry.
salam.
No. Nothing to do with Salim, no.
Okay,
Salim
sorry.
is only for the nouns. Muslimuna,
Okay.
Mudarrisuna,
واو الجماعة.
Muhandisuna. نعم.
واو الجماعة.
واو الجماعة. أحسنت. واو الجماعة. Thank you, Zaid. So how about the one in the next one? يذهبوا. Is it the same? It looks very similar.
حذف النون.
حذف نون.
So أرادوا, this is فعل ماضي.
Yeah.
يذهبوا, this is فعل مضارع.
So يذهبون
أيوة.
حذف النون.
الأصل. Originally it is يذهبون. And then with an it becomes mansoob, and alamatun nasb is the sign of it. The way that it displays being mansoob is how?
حذف النون.
By removing that noon. So يذهبون becomes يذهبوا. That is basically what أرادوا and يذهبوا. They wanted to go to the museum المتحف إلى المتحف اليوم, meaning today. طيب, and then Ahmed read this for us. يا بناتي أنا الآن أذهب إلى المستشفى لعيادة سلمى. Okay, here's something interesting to talk about. Previously, was the beginning.
عفوا أستاذ.
تفضل صادق.
بارك الله فيك. بارك الله فيكم. The both vowels in أرادوا and يذهبوا are both vowels فاعلز.
Are both wows fa'ils. In the case of يذهبوا, the wow, this is the fa'il. In the case of أرادوا, as far as I know, the fa'il, is it not ضمير مستتر تقديره هم? Can someone comment on that? Can anyone jog our memories? With أرادوا, where's the fa'il? Is it mustatir or is it in the waw? Waw al-jama'ah? What is it?
واو الجماعة.
And the fa'il?
إذا كان أنا وهو مستتر. أنت إن كان يعني هم الله أعلم مستتر.
So one of the sisters says that the waw is the fa'il in both cases. So I think it's a good question, it's definitely relevant. Let's have a check of it, inshallah. What does Zayd have to say? He wanted to say something, then he hesitated. Zayd is my backbone. تفضل يا زيد.
Is أرادوا is in there, but I think يذهبوا is مستتر تقديره هم.
Oh, يذهبوا. This one is mustatir. And أرادوا is the waw. They have to go to الدرس الثالث عشر, is where they had all those, I think it was there where they, in the beginning of the lesson, they had the chart, and they also had a chart somewhere else We'll go back to it. It's easily found, inshallah. And if you could all revise that for us and bring that to our attention at the beginning of next lesson. Now, what I wanted to show here was Hamid says he's going to the hospital to visit Salma. إلى المستشفى لعيادة سلمى. Previously, Amina said she wants to go to the neighbor's house no, just over here was Afwan. In the very previous line, in the very line before this one, Hamid says, ما جاء اليوم لزيارتكم. Didn't they come today to visit you? Ziyara. And then the same person, Hamid, he says that he's going to the hospital to visit Salma. He doesn't say li ziyarati Salma. He says li iyadati Salma. So these two words, they seem to have a similar meaning, but what's the difference?
Ustad, should I tell?
Of course,
زيارة
الضمير
for a person who has صحيح يعني صحة عندها okay no problem. أما العيادة for the married person.
okay. Ahsan. So ziyara is to visit someone who is not sick, and iyada is to visit someone who is sick. Is that what you're saying? Supposing
Because
you didn't know he was sick.
أستاذ عيادة is clinic يعني هذا ناس يذهبون للمرض.
Yeah, exactly. So if you live in any Arab country, you will see that the clinic is called iyada. So that gives you a clue. But in actual fact, the word ziyara is to visit someone ordinarily. And iyada is to visit with the purpose of visiting the sick. Okay, and the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the huquq, the rights of a Muslim upon his brother, is to visit him if he becomes sick. This is an ya'udahu. Okay.
Ustad, I think with regards to the يذهب,
Yes.
the ya is the حرف مضارعة and the واو is the فاعل. That's on page 94.
Ayyawah. Ahsan. So what did I say?
And the noon is the علامة الرفع.
And what did I say? Did I say opposite?
No, that's
You
what you
said
said.
مستتر. No, I answered
يذهب.
لاحظ.
Afwan, there were two voices. I want someone to confirm that if I said it right or if I said it wrong.
I think we both said it was مستتر.
Are you a Sadiq? طيب. I thought I said that نعم, that with يذهبوا, the waw, this is the fa'il. And the noon, this is the حذف النون, this is the علامة الإعراب. As for the fi'al madi, then the dhamir is mustatir. And the waw, as you said, is waw al-jama'a. Is that what you have just confirmed? At least the mudari, you confirmed the mudari, right?
So yeah, the ya is the حرف مضارعة, the واو is the فاعل, and the noon is the علامة الرفع.
طيب. So the difference of ziyara and iyada is visiting the healthy and visiting the sick. Supposing you're visiting someone you didn't know they were sick. You got there and and you found out that they were sick. What's that called? Ziyara or iyada?
Ziyara.
It's called ziyara, Hassan. Because iyada carries the intention of visiting a sick person. طيب. And then Ahmed also read for us, أتردنا أن تذهبنا معي. أتردنا أن تذهبنا معي. So here we can see that this, it used to be, let me get the pen, where's the pen gone? It used to be turidu. He added the noon and niswa. So this dal now takes a sukoon. And what's the problem? What problem are we facing here?
التقاء الساكنين.
Exactly. Two sukoons side by side, the ya and the dal. So the ya loses and has to go. So therefore you're left with turidna. And the alif there, the hamza is for istifham, question. Aturidna. And that's what's basically being said over here. Aturidna. And then he said, and because this noon and niswa, and this fi'l mudari', which is usually marfu', all of a sudden it becomes mabni. You know, when ladies, they get together, they become quite powerful. They've rendered this verb mabni. Can't move, it's fixed. No more i'rab. And this one, you have an tadhhabana. This is supposed to be an nasiba. But when you come to this verb over here, and this noon appears, noon and niswa, again, there's no such thing as mansoob. This verb is mabniyun, again, because of the noon and niswa. But the notice how the job of the word an is still there. What is the job? What is the role of this an?
المصدرية.
No, but like, you know, in
Joining two.
in layman's terms, it's joining two verbs. No.
Yeah.
Aturidna and tadhhabna. You want to say turidna and tadhhabna. Do you want to go? You know, you don't say, it's like sometimes it translates as the word that. Sometimes it translates as the word to. You can't say you want go. Yeah, you can't say that. You have to say you want to go. So this is similar to. Other times it translates as that. Wow. Let's try if we can. See how we can get. Inshallah, how far we can get. I was hoping we would finish, but because of the gap, we decided to do some revision, which I think was useful because it looks like there is some rust we need to remove on all of us. We need to shake the rust off. Some people are bravely admitting it. Tayyib. And then all of a sudden our third reader is activated and says,
Al-banat. Na'am.
you made the most of that. You even read the people who said it. Don't worry, you have your moments coming up. Father Ahmed.
ماذا تريدن أن تأخذن لها؟
Meaning? What does it mean, guys? Adil, can you translate that for us? ماذا تريدن أن تأخذن لها?
What do you want to take with you for her?
Ahsant. What do you want to take? Yeah, for her. تفضل يا أخي أبو حسن.
Yeah. نريد أن نأخذ معنا علبة الحلوى هذه حلوى هذه إن سلمى تحب هذه الحلوى كثيرا.
This is, mashallah, interesting sentence. because there's a lot happening, huh? Over here, you have nuridu an, so this is nasiba again, na'khudha, that's mansub because of an, ma'ana, with us, mudaf mudaf ilayhi, ulbata, why is this mansub?
مفعول به
From
منصوب نريد ناخذه.
if you say it's from nurid, is they want a box of sweets. And if you say it's from na'khudha, they want to take a box of sweets. So it changes it.
So there's two مفعول به.
It depends on the hidden intention, right?
Yeah.
But clearly the question says, what do you want to take? They said we want to take ulbat al-halwa. So ulbata is maf'ulun bihi from take. From na'khudha. Yeah? So you can't say it's maf'ulun bihi from nurid. And why is it only got one fatha on the end of it, not two, even though there's no alif or lam?
It's مضاف إليه.
It's mudaf, ahsantum. And mudafun ilayhi is halwa. Halwa in Arabic is similar to that in Urdu, and that is basically sweet, some sweet food or some sweets. And if this is mudafun ilayhi, then where is the kasra? Why not halwi?
بدل. No. Not منوط. No?
Abu Hassan, you're going through the list of your grammar.
Yeah,
Not منوط, badal, ism khab, ism inna. Finally, you're going to come to the answer.
It's ألف مكسورة.
مضاف إليه, right?
Sahih. It is mudaf ilayhi. We already established that part. But my question now is, where's the kasra on mudaf ilayhi? Abu Hassan finally came and said,
ألف مكسورة.
yeah, this is actually alif maksura, and therefore like mustashfa and those words, that it's an alif, so it's impossible for the kasra to appear. So you say majrurun bi kasratin muqaddaratin, an assumed kasra, mana'a min dhuhurihi, what prevented it from appearing was at-ta'adhur, impossibility. Impossible to impair given the circumstances. And هذه, what's the i'rab of هذه? مرفوع منصوب ومجرور.
Why?
مجرور.
Even says مجرور. Why?
Because it is a badal for al-halwa.
You are badal, so it's definitely badal, and is mabni, but it's in, yeah. Someone else says, Akram says,
Okay, badal for gulba.
and Akram says this is badal from ulba. So someone says this is mansub, someone says this is majroor. And what is the difference?
Anyway, هذه مبني.
Sahih, but what's the position of i'rab in mahal? It's mahal, right?
Yeah, mahal.
Mahal jar or mahal nasb? Is it going with halwa, a box of these sweets, or with ulba, this box of sweets?
أيوة.
علبة is family.
مبني منصوب.
So basically that's the difference. That's the difference of هذه. Are they, when they said هذه, are they pointing to the box? They said هذه العلبة نأخذ هذه العلبة التي فيها الحلوى. We want to take this box that has sweets inside it. Or are they saying we want to take a box with these sweets? So you have these sweets, they're not in a box. We want to take a box of these sweets. علبة الحلوى هذه. We want to take this sweets.
هذه علبة.
So I think if you think about the meaning, yeah, if you think about the meaning, that هذه is actually is going back to al-ulbata. It is going back to al-ulbata. You want to take this box of sweets. Not, we want to take the box that belongs to these sweets, meaning we've already eaten the sweets and they're in our pockets, and we want to take the box that belongs to these sweets. So technically, it could be an empty box they want to take. They wouldn't be doing that, right? You'll make Salma sad. She's in hospital and they're going to bring tears to her eyes. They gave her an empty box of sweets. Okay? Inna Salma tuhibbu hadhihi al-halwa. Again, you have this alif maqsoor. What's the i'rab of Salma?
Ismu inna.
Barakallahu feek. Ismu inna. I'rab
منصوب
منصوب وعلامة نصبه
فتحة المقدر.
فتحة مقدرة منع من ظهوره.
يا اسمه إن منصوب علامة النصب الفتحة. أستاذ؟
أيوة, with you, you're correct.
نحن نقول هكذا مقدرة للتأثر هكذا.
نعم, you can say that. مقدرة للتعذر. Yeah. Same. للتعذر, because of impossibility, or منع من ظهوره التعذر. That's fine. All of it is it amounts to the same meaning. أحسن. إن سلمى تحب هذه الحلوى كثيرا. تحب هذه الحلوى كثيرا. That whole sentence is في محل رفع خبر إن. And what is the i'rab of al-halwa in this place?
منصوب.
بدل هذه.
أي نعم. بدل هذه. And هذه, what's the i'rab of it?
مفعول به.
بارك الله فيك. هذه is مفعول به منصوب وفي محل نصب. الحلوى is بدل from هذه. طيب. My brothers, sisters also, جزاكم الله خيرا. It's time for Isha here in Jeddah. We don't have much to go, but at the level that we're going in depth, Allahu Alam will take us another lesson to get through this, inshallah. Plus we have the exercises. So bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, we can continue, inshallah, on Monday. Look out for the new time, because the timing could be the same as it is now, or as Isha begins to get earlier in Jeddah, Maghrib begins to get earlier as well. Soon we're going to be having to jump over one of the prayers. So I think for the time being, it's going to be 6:45, inshallah.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
جزاكم الله خير.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Salam.